Hello and welcome to Military Mayday. We're pointing out a few pieces on the chessboard. Got a couple stories here I'm going to go over with you. We're going to read through them, a couple quick reads. Before that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I want to thank everybody I got as it is. The first one is Israel readies for war on 7 fronts as attacks recorded in neighboring countries. And this one here is Benjamin Netanyahu no different than Hitler, Turkey's Erdogan claims. And I don't know, Hitler was trying to get rid of the Jews, wasn't he? So anyway, let's get into it here. Israel's warned that there is in a war on 7 fronts as attacks recorded in a handful of neighboring countries in the last 48 hours sparks fears of the conflicts escalating into the wider region. In an address to the Israeli government on Tuesday, Yoav Gallant, the country's defense minister and one of the only 3 members of its war cabinet, said that they were coming under attack from Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and the West Bank, Iraq, Yemen, and Iran. We are in a multifront war and coming under attack from 7 theaters, he said, before listing them all. Without specifying, he added that they were taking action on 6 of the fronts. His comments came as explosions were recorded off the coast of Yemen, presumed to be an attack by Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, and missiles were fired into Israel by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah forces in southern Lebanon. A British Maritime Authority said on Tuesday that missiles had been sighted off the coast of Yemen near Houthi positions and advised vessels traveling through the Red Sea to transit with caution. They said they had also seen multiple explosions in the area throughout the day, though there were no casualties. Reported incidents came a week after the United States announced a multinational maritime security initiative in the Red Sea in response to the attacks on vessels by the Yemen Houthis. The Iranian-backed Houthi militia has been attacking commercial vessels in the Red Sea since October, a campaign that the group is in solidarity with Palestinians besieged by the Israeli government in Gaza. Israelis military said that more than 1,000 missiles directly north southern Lebanese forces had hit a church and injured a civilian after an exchange of missiles across the border. They accused Iranian-backed Hezbollah of deliberating firing at Israeli civilians and religious sites after a Greek Orthodox church was struck on Tuesday. They were an additional 2 attacks recorded in the northeastern Egypt, close to the southern Israel and Gaza borders, and on the Israeli embassy in New Delhi, India. There were no casualties in either attack, and it remains unclear who was behind them. On Monday, meanwhile, a watchdog said an Israel airstrike in Syria killed an Iranian general, while U.S. warplanes hit Iranian-backed militias in Iraq, which had wounded American soldiers in drone strikes. Both drone strikes led to vows of revenge. Within Gaza, Israel continued to its bombardment of the enclavement as part of a goal to destroy Hamas, another Iranian-backed group that launched the deadly attacks on Israel's soil on 7th of October that killed 1,140 people and led to 240 people being taken hostage. More than 20,900 Palestinians have been killed by Israel's retaliation aerial bombardment and subsequent ground invasion of Gaza, according to the local Hamas-run health ministry. More than 240 were killed in the last 24 hours, the ministry added. On Tuesday, Israeli forces bombed Palestinian refugee camps in central Gaza and issued orders telling residents to evacuate the area. With Israeli forces now spread throughout the enclave, bombing all corners of it, it is becoming increasingly difficult for Palestinians to find somewhere to shelter. The United Nations said that they were gravely concerned about the ongoing Israeli bombardment and the recent focus on central Gaza, having spent months fighting in the north and south. Despite international pressure for a ceasefire, the U.S. calls for a reduction in civilian casualties. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the fighting isn't close to finished. An Israeli move to central Gaza, what a top Israeli foreign official said, amounts to a transition from the second to the third stage. Further, shrinks in the area into which Gaza's 2.3 million people have been forced to squeeze. Already more than 85% of the population has been driven from their homes. The Israeli military issued an order on Tuesday calling on residents to evacuate a belt of territory in the width of the central Gaza, urging them to move to the Del Balah, a small city nearby. But another strip of land in the far south of the Egyptian border have been overwhelmed with displaced people, even as Israel bombards them. The UN Security Council last week called for the immediate speeding up of aid deliveries to Gaza, but there has been little concrete sign of a change. The UN says it struggles to distribute aid because many areas are cut off by fighting. UN officials now said a quarter of Gaza's population is starving under Israel's siege. Israel blames Hamas for the high civilian death toll and humanitarian issues in Gaza, citing the militants' use of crowded residential areas and tunnels. Israel also says it has killed thousands of Hamas militants without presenting evidence. It's crazy. I mean, Israel is just slaughtering everything over there and not even stopping, not even thinking about it, not even worrying about any kind of consequences. And one of the consequences is Erdogan's calling Netanyahu Hitler. If you reverse to that, I guess you could say. I don't know. Let's read this source a quickie. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is no different than Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan claimed on a Wednesday speech. Erdogan said that Netanyahu was no different from Hitler and likened Israel's attack on Gaza to the treatment of Jewish people by the Nazis. Speaking at an event in the Ankara, Erdogan also repeated his criticisms of Western support for Israel, adding that Turkey was ready to welcome academics and scientists who faced persecution due to their views on the conflict in Gaza. The butcher of Gaza. Earlier in December, Turkish president said that Netanyahu would be tried as a war criminal over Israel's ongoing offensive in the Gaza Strip, referring to the Likud party leader as the butcher of Gaza. In a speech at a meeting at an organization as the Islamic Cooperation (OIC) committee in Istanbul, Erdogan said that Gaza and Palestine land and will also belong to the Palestinians. Israel is not only a murderer, but also a thief, Erdogan said, according to the Turkish state media, adding, "We cannot let Israel occupy Gaza once again." Erdogan charged that those who invade Gaza will seek other places tomorrow. Gaza butcher Netanyahu revealed he has expansionist ideas, and he has. Erdogan is carrying out genocide on Kurds. Netanyahu responded to Erdogan's statements later on Wednesday, saying that Erdogan, who is carrying out genocide of Kurds and holds a world record in imprisoning journalists who oppose him, is the last person who can preach morals. Well, I had to agree with him there, but I'm not an Erdogan fan. The IDF is the most moral army in the world, Netanyahu continued. It is fighting and defeating the most cruel, vicious terror group in the world, which Erdogan praises and hosts. Now, I don't know if the IDF is the most moral out there. Maybe a little better than some, but not what I've seen. Anyway, if you like this kind of information, just smash the like button, subscribe, help me out a little bit. Till next time, we'll say toodaloo.